We are now live, and the total we have is zero. All right, let me write a comment and welcome to the show. Okay, stream chat. Okay, I hope it's working since I'm using a different one.
Let me check my phone because
Yeah.
yeah, I think I just got a notification that you went live.
Oh, did you?
Hmm.
Yep, someone's there. Okay. Yeah, it works. Okay, I just want to make sure Melon works. And we'll wait for a couple people to come on, and then we'll start. Let me see if I can see it on mine. See if it's showing on my. Oh yeah, we're there. Oh wow, awesome. For watching. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Um, Welcome to the Roadrunner Sunday live show. Um, this evening we're going to talk about misconceptions and the discouragement of white men and black women dating and marrying, people's opinion on it. And with me this evening, this beautiful lady, Loren. She's been on the show once before. And I got a number of requests to bring her on. And, we'll have a good time. And we'll just talk about, you know, white men, black women dating, marrying, and the misconceptions. We'll talk about some of the stereotypes, some of the people that discourage those of us that interracially date. And I believe black women and white men are the ones that are discouraged these days of dating and marrying, and they're the most reserved too. They're the most cautious, and it's kind of funny because stuff I hear from black women what they say, black white men say almost the same thing. It's kind of crazy. They're kind of alike in that sort of way. But anyway, um, whenever people date, whether it's interracially or there's stereotypes, there's misconceptions, um, and there's people out there that disagree with it. Um, whether it's their racial beliefs, the racial what you call it, loyalty, um, and some people just stay with their own racial group, which is that's fine. That's the most common thing, and it don't mean that they got any problem with interracial dating. That's just where they go. And but interracial dating, and a lot of times interracial dating and marriage, people may be attracted to the other person, but they're discouraged. Um, the way they're talked about, the way they're treated, and some of them are just afraid to just leap in, and they might care for that person. And I've seen people being heartbreak years later that have been, actually in love with that person, and they didn't go through with it because they thought societal problems and stigmas and stereotypes, it would be such a problem, and they felt that their relationship, even though they wanted it, wouldn't work. And me and my wife are proof that it works. And if you have true love for one another, it don't matter what they're going to throw at you. You still love that person. My wife is still my wife no matter what, and I'm blessed to have her. And you know, we're in an interracial marriage and have been for 27 years. And I have been discouraged to marry her when I was dating her. She was discouraged too. And so many subject matter experts out there, had an idea that it wasn't going to work and they knew best for what I should do. And those on her side had the best ideas what she should do. Well, 27 years down the road, 3 kids later, a
7 years
granddaughter,
later.
and we're still married. And most of those people are not. And in my family, the ones that stay married is me and my brother. And everyone else has been married multiple times, divorced. And it just proof you really love someone and you want to make it work. And the stuff they tell you you're going to go through, you're going to go through some stuff, but it's honestly, I say it's a lot easier than I thought it would. I thought I'd have more problems, but there were problems going down the line. But anyway, that's my story in a nutshell. Um,
Hey, Brent, I was gonna tell you.
yes.
I can hear myself. Do you have the YouTube playing as well? Just make sure you
Uh,
mute the YouTube so you don't hear the playback.
I turned my phone off the YouTube. Is it
Okay.
is it better now, or it might be maybe a setting in my
Do you hear me
computer?
playback?
No, I don't. I hear you fine.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it stopped. Maybe
Okay, maybe because my phone was on the. I was kind of watching the live stream. Was
Oh right, yeah, that's what it was then. But
okay.
yeah, so I was gonna say that the inspiration for this topic is something that I've been wanting to see talked about more in this like space where we're talking more about interracial dating, particularly between white men and black women, is the fact that there's so many stereotypes surrounding it, and there's so many like reasons why we are like the most discouraged. And people always ask like how come we're the least likely to date, even though we're like the most discouraged from dating each other, particularly like remember last week I
Yeah.
was like white men are pushed the most to be race loyal, black women are pushed the most to be race loyal, and everybody else can date and it's just love and it doesn't matter. But like the I don't know, the communities, our communities, our lineages and stuff like that, it's on our shoulders for some reason, and like everyone else can just go off and do whatever they want to do, but like the weight is on us to be race loyal. So I really think that like so actually the video that I sent you, which
Uh,
was kind of the inspiration for that topic. What did you think of that video that I sent you?
no, I thought it was a good video.
Mm,
Um, and some of the stuff that they were going through, me and my wife. People discouraging us and how the other person's going to be, and and you're right. We're the most supposed to be the most race loyal, and and I think people that are against interracial marriages on, I say the white side, the ones that don't like it, um, they are more angry when a white man does it than a white woman,
right,
because they look at white women as okay, they're running off, they're being rebellious, they're doing whatever. But a white man, he's like the head of the household and he's making the
right.
decision. So he's choosing that woman to be his wife, the top woman in his life, and I think people see that as like in their mind as a downfall of the race because
Hmm.
they think when it comes to that, and I've been told this by people that believe we should be separated that have told me you're actually killing your race, and they believe this. No, I mean it's stupid. I ain't
No,
killing
you're
nobody.
told the same thing. You're what do they say?
Yeah,
You're drowning out your race, or you're watering
yeah.
it down. Because there's this belief that like black is like rich and fertile, and it's like when you mix it with white, it's like you're diluting it. So like when you have a baby, the baby is like diluted.
So less value, or
I
yeah. Well, no, that's I guess where they're going with it, because like a white supremacist mindset is like that too. Okay,
Mhm.
you take it like I've been told you're slinging your DNA around. No, I'm not. I married one woman, but they make it sound like I'm putting it where I shouldn't. Well, it's my DNA. I do what I want with it. And, some people get that thing that, okay, there's not going to be white people or black people because we're going all intermix. And when I think of that, I'm like, I could care less. And I don't care what my kids, grandkids look like. I just care that they're good people and successful and live a good life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's how I look at it. I don't think about, okay, well, what are we going to look at? Who cares? That's just me. And I love black people and white people. And, I just, I choose my way and with my wife. And I'm an individual like that. I chose my path. And, when I asked for her hand, she accepted it. And we've lived a good life together and
Mm-hmm.
will continue to. So, but yeah, that video, it was encouraging. And, some of the stuff they were saying, me and my wife can relate to, you know, and,
I'll explain the video for the viewers so that they know
okay.
what they're referencing. So basically, I sent him a video that was basically about a white man and a black woman, and they were getting ready to have a baby, and they were just saying they had to overcome a lot of like prejudice because the just
Yeah.
like what you were just saying was that the white guy was like being told by um, his family and friends, and I guess people in his circle that she's gonna run off with all your money. It's gonna be a disaster. Don't do it. Um, this is like you're watering yourself down or you're diluting yourself and stuff like that. So and so he had to me like your kind of mindset where he's like I just didn't care about all of that.
Yeah.
I didn't care. And whenever I like see couples like that and why they seem so close, which I believe this is also why white men and black women have the longest lasting relationships, is because I truly believe like that we have to overcome the most to be together. We have to overcome the most societal standards and people's policing of what we're doing. And I don't really get the like from what you were saying, like I don't really get what do you mean when white guys I'll explain to you the
Okay.
things that like the things that black women hear because I want to hear more about like what is it that white men believe is wrong about it. I know for us it's like those are colonizers. All white men are racist. Why would you it doesn't matter how black men act. It doesn't matter how black men treat you. Like anything is better like than a white man. So like for you to be with a white man, it's kind of like um you're betraying your
Hmm.
own people when you do that, and you're giving him like your fertile seed, and you're gonna it's just they just see it like this betrayal, and like you're joining white supremacy, and you're okay with racism, you're okay with police brutality, you're like and it's like seriously I just feel like black women have to consider all of the perils of mankind if we want a relationship. We have to like we can't just have a
Yeah.
relationship. We have to like stop and consider all the perils of the world and all of the traumas and tribulations and trials and tribulations and what about in the 60s? What about in the 1800s? What about the transatlantic trade and we have to like who stops to think about all that stuff when you just want to like when you met someone that you liked and you just want to be with them like that's such we're put on such a guilt trip. We're put on such a guilt trip, and like
Yeah.
that's the reasons like what like why we are like least likely to date white men, even though we do date
Mhm.
out Hispanics more, um even like Asians more, but it's like something that I don't know, like with white men it's like that's like the biggest guilt trip ever for
Yeah.
us.
Okay. Yeah. And I've heard that, and I've talked to people that believe that, but on my perspective, it's well, with white people, we have um, good and bad, and there's some that are racist, and there's some that just believe we should just be together and separate,
Mm,
and some it's because of hate, and some say no, we love black people, but we want to be with our own and separated and all that.
mm, okay.
And you have some of that, and then you have those of us that are okay with it, we just look at it, people as people.
Mhm.
And if I see a black woman, I can be attracted to her, and my mind, there's nothing wrong with that. Society might say it's wrong, it's this and that, and I think what kind of with white men, what kind of holds us back, and you go with that when you're talking about the sins of the past, the slavery, and all that stuff, and with us, with white people, and you probably noticed that we kind of have like a guilty conscience, like we're kind of cautious. We don't want to offend you, and we want to make sure that we're not racist.
Mhm.
And when I was dating my wife and was getting ready to marry my wife, my family was okay with it, but they had to make it a point to let her know that they weren't racist. Like,
Really
yeah, I mean, and
interesting.
yeah, like black friends they've had and this and that, and um and how they're okay with it. And my wife's like, okay, when she was meeting my family, how many heartwarming black stories am I going to get? And I was like, well, you're going to get a few because they're just letting you know that they're okay with you. They accept you and they want you to feel comfortable. And that's how we are. And,
Oh,
and, we don't want you thinking we're racist because,
right.
a lot in society we'll be accused of. I've been accused of it and not did nothing. And if they knew me, they would know I'm not like that. Maybe just because images they seen, maybe people that look like me doing horrible stuff, and they relate it. And but that's why I think white men are held back because it's like, okay, we don't want to offend, and then the stereotypes. Okay, we're evil, racist, and we eat mayonnaise and we fetishize.
Do you
You
ever?
know, huh?
I was gonna ask you. Do you ever? Are you ever like warned that we are gonna be like bad partners? That black women are gonna like treat you awful and like because black men say
What? Well, I wouldn't say we're warned of it, but there is a
okay,
perception.
okay,
And some people say, well, black women, they're kind of crazy, I mean, and that's coming from people that don't know them. I mean, my experience, the stereotypes you see on TV and how they act, the ones I've been around don't act like that. I think there's maybe two women that acted, crazy. And,
and I mean you have to realistically look at the fact that we're talking about reality television. Who that those shows are
well,
like
yeah, I know, but there's
yeah,
always that perception, there's always that stereotype. And yeah, I mean, smart people will look at people and see how they really are, get to know them, and not go off what people tell you, the perceptions, the stereotypes, and there's some of that, and it's the unknown. And if you know, there's people like in my family or neighborhood don't know black people, so they think they're a certain way because of the images they see and stuff they hear. And I'm sure it goes the other way too.
mm-hmm.
And I think that's what kind of holds us back. And then
Yes.
it's like, and you approach a black woman, it's like, okay, I don't want to offend her, and I don't want her to think that I'm just after her for an experience. And we're trying to be on our best behavior, and with some guys, it's like they kind of hold back, and it's that's that's what I think's happening with
Okay,
me. I was just so attracted.
you just
I
didn't
wanted
know.
it so bad. I'm going for it, and thank God I did. I got my wife and my family,
Mhm.
and I've been blessed with it. But I think that's what's holding it back, and and I think that's why, like you're saying, white men, black women, their marriages last because we're so vetted and so cautious and go through all this that when we finally get together, we're serious and we're going to make it happen.
Yep.
And we're to the point that don't care what anybody thinks.
Mhm.
And I think that's why it works because I think with white women and black men, they date easier. It happens easier.
And
I don't
they
think they're more attracted to each other. They're just more comfortable doing it.
yes,
There's
exactly.
nothing holding them back.
Hmm.
Hey, jump in, have fun, and see what happens. To where we're like, okay, is this person right? Is it, ooh, you know?
And it's just like what you said. It's like for you, white men are like held to like a higher standard than the white women are. So when white women date out, it's like, well, they're just being women. They're going to do what they want to do. They're just being rebellious and stuff like that. But for you, you're held to a higher standard. And for us, we're held to a higher standard as well. Black men is it's like this. It's like they're the same as white women almost. Like they can kind of like be rebellious and it's okay, or it's looked at as, well, they're going to love who they love, and they're not held to this standard where, they have to uphold all of these like sacred values and stuff like that. Like they don't have that weight we do, which is like which is like leads me to my next point, because I wanted to say that, like, I feel like white men and black women have so much more in common than what we ever realize. Like we share a lot of the same labels.
I think
Like
so. Yeah.
we do, like what you were saying about like black women being like crazy. It's like white men have the label of angry, of crazy, almost like that, I don't know, like that, like unsuspecting, like serial killer. Like a lot of times, like we're like warned that, like, oh, white men, like they're gonna snap on you, and like
Oh
like
yeah, yeah. I've heard that. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and
So
that's just perceptions people got, and But what I'll say is, there is an image of black women too that's a positive, like the professional black woman, and you'll see it like in movies where
yeah.
she's a partner of a firm and
Mhm.
dresses nice, real successful, and back in the '80s they really promoted that.
Mhm.
Like back when the Cosby Show was going, the wife, she was highly educated. Well, the whole family was highly educated, and they should do more shows like that. It was more of a positive. But
Mhm.
but the but the wife, the mom, she was like she was professional, she was loving, she just had it together. And of course she was a beautiful woman, but what made her so attractive is she was so professional.
Mhm.
And she was smart, she had it together. And that's an attractive feature that I think most white men or men of other races see that professional black woman, they really it's attractive. And I could say times in my life that women that weren't super attractive but so professional that wow,
Mhm.
you're attracted to it, that image. I don't know, but that's one stereotype. Well, I won't say it's a stereotype because a lot of women are successful. My wife is educated, well, my daughters, well, my son too. But I mean, there's a lot of them out there that are just professional and successful and making it happen. And that's a good quality I found. And my wife's got friends that are you know highly educated and making six figures. I guess that's the Kevin Samuel
Yeah. And
for a quality man or whatever, or woman. But I mean, they've done it on their own, and that's something sad because it took me till in my 40s to get there, and that's with my wife and you know us with on our second careers and stuff. But there's no dollar value to someone being quality. It's their
right,
character.
exactly. To someone being valuable, there's no value to it at all. I mean, there's no dollar value to it at all. Like
Yeah.
lots of times people can be very rich and successful, but they have terrible character. And so for me, like this, I don't know, this whole high value thing is just, I think it's a YouTube thing. I just don't take it that seriously. Like it's YouTube.
Yeah, it probably
I don't take
is.
it that
Uh,
seriously.
there's a lot of YouTube stuff that I look at and like, is it really? No, I haven't experienced
No.
that.
Yeah.
But
Sometimes
yeah,
I'm like, what in the world are these people talking about? This is not real world stuff at all.
I mean, I could be, yeah, and I mean, I could be a millionaire and beat my wife. I mean, I
Hmm.
mean, you know, but yeah, no, it just funny how they put a label and what, well, kind of getting off subject, but what drives me crazy with him is like the man that makes six figures can wants this perfect woman that's
Mm-hmm.
a dress size. She's got to just be super hot and super, just so beautiful. And then, you know, being 50 and she's 20, to me that's like a pedophile in my mind. But
Yeah, it is.
it,
It's very pedophilic.
but the thing of it is, if the way I think it, if I have wealth and I'm single and I'm my age, I am not going for a young woman, 20s,
Most men
30s.
don't. Most men do
And
not.
yeah, because there's nothing you have in common.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only thing, you might have a desire for her, but what else is there?
Yeah.
And is she with you because she really loves you, or your assets, or your position in life? With the Kevin Samuels guy, he he could get some woman that looks super hot, but how far does that go?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's got money, he's like celebrity status, and you know, but I don't know if I had assets like that. If I was like him, I'd be very cautious, and it would be a woman my age that had some wealth, because I know that she's not coming for mine. You know what I mean? And
Right.
it's like
Right.
that woman that was he said average at best, which
Mm-hmm.
was her made perfect sense
Mm-hmm.
because she wanted someone that had wealth too, so that she wouldn't take in hers. That she knows this guy actually loves her, and I don't think she was looking for some
Pie in the
super.
sky. Yeah.
Yeah, they wasn't. I didn't look at it as pie in the sky. I mean, it was some. Some people are like that. Well, yeah, I'm going to have this person. They're going to be this. They're going to make this money. They're going to be super good looking and perfect. But for that, it wasn't. I don't know. I just look at it different, and it's like weird because the stuff he's telling these women to do, this stuff my dad was telling me to do. You need to do this. You need to get a job. You need to work hard. You need to get it together so you can get a good wife.
Mm-hmm.
And I
You
never
see how
had the
he said all those
mindset like,
buzzwords?
yeah, I never had the mindset tell my wife, okay, well, what are you bringing to the table? What are you going to do for me type thing. I just wanted her to come to the table, bring your loyalty and your
Yes.
love and your beautiful self, and hey,
Yes.
let's make it happen. And
Amen to that.
it was just, it just crazy.
Yeah.
But
Amen to that. That's what I'm talking about. And those are the kind of men that like I said, some of the dating coaches that I've listened to, like I said, I'm not into this cult following where I follow someone like they're Jesus, but it's like
yeah,
I've gotten some good information because I didn't have a father, so like I didn't there was a lot of stuff that just was not known to me. Like I didn't know how to handle lots of different things when it came to dealing with the opposite sex. However, I do
yeah,
know that I'm a very traditional woman. I'm not into like a lot, lots of. I don't want nothing weird. I don't want nothing like alternative or different. I just want like a traditional man. That's what I want. I don't want these men that want to be treated like queens, and I don't want this like role reversal that men seem like they want to do today. So I want like a traditional
yeah,
man, you know. And it's just funny that you say that like that like uh that picture of like the professional black woman is something
hmm
that's kind of like we're looked down on for to black men. They just see that as they see professionalism and success as a masculine quality. And because a lot of black women have become successful, because it's like for a lot of us, I always say we don't want to be the face of like government handouts. We don't want to be the face of
yeah.
welfare. We don't want
No,
to be
I
the
get
face
that.
of neediness and stuff like that. So we've like really worked hard to like be able to support and take care of ourselves. But like when I went to college and got my degree, it wasn't so that I could like wave my degree in a man's face. You know what I mean? It wasn't so
Yeah,
that I could like, it was so that I could take care of my own self. I didn't have to like wait for a man to come save me. I didn't have to wait for like some, fairy tale to happen. I'm just able to kind of like go, do what I got to do. I can live in the kind of house that I want to live in. I can eat the kind of food that I like. I can travel. I can, go take my vacations and stuff like that. And I don't have to like wait for someone to come lift me up out of somewhere that I don't want to be in. So, it's like we just empowered our own selves, you know what I mean? And those qualities are like
Yeah.
looked down on. It's like, you're not needy enough. But
Yeah. Well, with that, I guess I kind of understand where they're coming from. Not that I agree, but I think with a man, naturally, he wants to be the one taking care of things.
mhm.
But with that, with the kitten, I think he's trying to take it the other way. But I mean, yeah, but
You
I
just
mean, I
called him
never
the
looked at
kitten.
a yeah.
You called him the
I
kitten.
never the kitten. Yeah, I never looked at it as professional woman as being masculine. That's just she's just
Right.
successful and she's working hard. And if she's alone, she has to. You know, society back in the day,
Mhm.
men did all the work. My grandfather, he worked. My grandmother didn't. She didn't even drive. He did all that. He worked. He drove. And she took care of the kids. And back in those days, that's how society was.
Mhm.
But men were able to make a good living to take care of that.
Right.
And today's society, it's kind of tough. I mean,
Yeah.
but also we got what, 5 TVs, 4 cars, and we got a lot more too. I mean, but I, I just like professional women because they're organized. They got it together, and I think that makes a good wife because
Mhm.
she's going to do her part. And like my wife, she can be professional or be the housewife, and
Mhm.
she just jumps in what she's got to do. And I love her for it. I mean, and I couldn't ask for a better wife.
I'm telling
But
you, the men that snatch up these professional black women, they're going to get it. They're going to get some good wives because a lot of women are only working and
they
being
are, yeah,
because they have to be because what are they going to do? Sit by themselves for like 30 years and like be homeless or something? Like what are they supposed to do? They've made a life for themselves, but I promise you a lot of these women can't wait to like, be a wife and be,
yeah,
make their husband, the person that they're catering to every day and not their job. You know what I mean? A lot of women can't wait to be in that position. So a lot of these like professional black women, they're like wives in the making and they're ready to be, you know. But I wanted to like I wrote some notes here. I wanted to say like some one of the other misconceptions that I definitely hear a lot is this is like for both of us, right? So like
mm,
they say that like black women pedestalize whiteness and white men fetishize blackness. You know what I mean? Like if the relationships aren't real, you know what I mean? They're based on like frivolous things. So like we I don't know, like we see you as like a step up, or we see you as
mm.
like some like high holiness or something like that, and you see us as like some, I don't know, some
Some
freaky.
conquest that's different
Yeah.
that we can. Yeah, and well, I would just say the numbers don't lie. And with marriages with white men and black women, they last.
Mhm.
And if it's a fetishization, it ain't going last. It's superficial. It's just an experience. It's something that you want to do at the time, but there's no love there, so it can't last. You
Mhm.
know, so that debunks that.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that at all. That black women look at white men because of they think it's better. They might think generally they're better, maybe how they've been treated, their experiences.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's like, okay, I got to get with a white guy. I just got to do it. No, I mean, some people might be like that. You know, with me, I'm attracted to black women, so that's who I wanted to be with. But it wasn't because of a fantasy. It wasn't because of anything like that. I always thought they're beautiful, and then when I got to know them, it's like, hey, these people are awesome. And it wasn't that I had hate for my own because I don't. It was just, we're all attracted to who we're attracted to. and I found out good people. I found my wife, and I mean, she's got everything I want, and boom, you know,
So you don't think your wife was like, itching to get a white man? Like how was her? I know
no,
that.
I, no, she wasn't, and I'm gonna tell you this, and there are black women that are like that, and I've met them that only date white guy, and they're attracted to it. They just want it. That's what they want.
Hmm.
With my wife, it was different. She, um, I was the first white guy she dated,
Mm,
and she married me. And you know, her brother had dated only white women
mm,
and married white women,
mm.
and they kind of took him through the ringer. He married the wrong kind of woman every time, and they
Oh
just
my God.
pretty much destroyed him. But and she saw that, and she's like, "Well, I'm not going to get with a white guy. I don't want to go through that." Because that's what she witnessed.
Hmm.
Because he was older than her, and she knew his girlfriends and his wives, and they just and I felt sorry for the guy because he just met bad women, and you know she never dated white guys till I came along, and well, it's history. But with her, it wasn't that she was just dying. We just, I when I talked to her and met her, and she just felt like she told me she felt like it was right, and even though I was a white guy, she's going, you know, and it worked out. And it's funny because my brother used to tease her, "Oh, you ain't gonna get a white." Because when I first met my brother-in-law, he approached me and says, "Hey, bro, you're pretty special." And I'm like, "What? What do you mean?" And then he just looked at my wife, and she's like, "Oh, stop it, stop it." But I don't know. But yeah, with my wife, it wasn't that way. It was just, you know. But
I always say, black women and black men date out for two totally different reasons. And one of the reasons I believe that their relationships kind of like when black men date out, they'll get through the ringer with these white women, and they
mhm,
can never seem to get it right. And their statistics, their numbers show that's the worst um, marital category to be in. They have the highest divorce rate of all of every combination. And I believe that's because a lot of times black men date white women, they're expecting these like perfect angels. And then
yeah,
they
and
get
and
with
they're
them,
not.
and I mean, it's like you are with an imperfect human being. Okay, I don't
Yeah,
know why you have this fantastical idea in your head, but then when real life starts, just everyday life happens, and they realize it's not working out, it's because you're not choosing the woman based on anything that matters. You're choosing the woman based on, I don't know, some idea that like white women are more feminine, or white women are easier to get along with, or white women are easier to deal with, or whatever. But it's like, okay, I don't know if that's true or not, but like the woman that you're with right now, like if you two can't get along, and if you came into this with this idea that she's going to be like this easy submissive, doormat, and she's not being like that, then because that's not how they are, first of all, because I've heard like
yeah,
even white women have told me that like, they don't date black men that have those beliefs about them, it's like you have to vet the person
yeah.
that
You
you're going
do.
to be with. You don't date someone based on stuff that you hear like that. That is like, and so I believe that that's why they get caught up in those cycles of constantly failing, because it's like, oh, I thought you were going to be so submissive. I thought you were going to be so easy to deal with. I can't believe you're not what everyone said you were going to be, and then it's just like constantly, you know what I mean? So it's like you're the place that you're choosing from is it's not meant to last, because you're not dating from a place of substance. You're not asking the right questions. You're not getting to know this
Yeah,
person. Yes, she's a white woman. Okay, can you get to know her for real? Can you like get
yeah,
to know who she
and
is for real?
and find a good one. Don't just jump in the first one.
Yes, to go any old, yeah, like no,
Yeah,
just there's bad people in every race. There's bad types of people in every race and every category. So like to just be like, oh well, she's white, so that's it, and you think you're gonna have this perfect relationship. And I think a lot of black men date that way, which is why their marriages just do not, the relationships do not tend to last. They're constantly going around the ringer, just like how her brother was. And for a lot of black women, um,
Mhm.
the white guy that they're with is the first white guy that they ever dated. The white guy that they married is the first white guy they ever even tried dating. Like, we don't, like I said,
Yeah,
it's
that
hard
was
for
my
us to.
wife. Yeah.
Mhm. That was Lex's Exodus too.
Oh.
The white guy that she dated the first time was the one that she ended up marrying, and it's like a lot of us don't have experience dating white men. We don't date. It's like, because first of all, like I said, we're very discouraged from dating white men anyway.
Yeah.
And if we thought that white men was like such a prize, and we're so something that was so high up and whatever and so highly valuable, we probably wouldn't
They
be
would
dating
be
them
doing it
anyway.
in droves.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
That 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 just debunked that, because if that was the case and they were looking for whiteness, yeah, they would have. There'd be just all over the place. I mean,
Yep.
the numbers are growing,
Hmm.
but I think people are, getting more open and looking at the person as a person more than,
Right.
their ethnic
Exactly.
background or whatever.
Hmm. Yeah. I remember even in one of your other videos, you were saying that back when you were still dating before you met your wife, you dated a few black women that just wasn't ready to do it. They were just like, they couldn't, they weren't ready to face the societal
Yeah.
backlash. They just weren't ready to do it. But if she was just like itching to get a white man, she would have did it, right?
Yeah.
She would've just did it.
Well, well, what was going on there was like back in the 80s, back when I was in high school dating, and, after high school, a little bit before I met my wife. But what was going on there is I think a lot of them were like, they were afraid to bring me home. I mean, they'd hang out with me, we'd have fun, it was great.
Yep.
But in my thing, I always felt I accept you for who you are. And it was easy for me because my family never, they didn't really care, you know. But for them, I think back then it was like they didn't want to bring that white boy to their
Not
father or
family.
brothers, or because they probably didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, well, if you don't accept me for who I am, if you're ashamed to bring me, I'm just going to cut you off. And that's how I would vet
Hmm.
back in the day. And maybe for some of them, I probably kicked to the curb, good women that probably would have worked it out and been okay. They just didn't know what was going to happen.
Hmm.
But that I experienced that back in the day, and now it's not. Well, I haven't dated since 1993, and my wife was
It's
the last
it's
one.
surprisingly
So I don't
still
really know what it's like now.
it's surprisingly still that kind of backlash. You still like,
Is
it's
it?
not like, it's probably not as bad as it was in the 80s. Like I mean I wasn't old, I wasn't even born yet, but I mean I wasn't
Yeah.
like old enough to date in the 80s. But just like I just like talk to my mother and stuff like that, and talk to other people and stuff like that. But it's like even today, for a black woman to like bring a white man home is still a thing. It's still like this thing where you have to like consider it, and you have to like mentally prepare yourself, and it's not
Wonder
like,
what they're going to think. Yeah.
yeah, it's not that easy. It's not like, oh, guess what? I'm with a white man, and it's like, it's not like this, that it's not that easy. So it's like, even those women, it's like, they probably were good women, but I still think you made a good decision to just move on, because I felt like you were progressive back then, and you needed a woman that was ready for you, not a woman that, because I feel like, who knows if she ever would have been had the courage to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm
and
kind of
that
glad
that's
that you
the
did it
thing.
later
Yeah.
around. Yeah. But at the same time, I can understand their hesitation, especially back then. I can
Yeah.
understand why
But
they
but
would,
but
you know.
yeah. But two, you could tell if they really liked you, because if they brought you home and dealt with that, they're
Hmm.
into you. They really like you.
Yeah.
And that's what I was looking for. I wanted to find that.
Hmm.
And my wife, when we met, she brought me home right away. There was
Hmm.
no problem. But her family was, they accepted me, you know.
Hmm.
And maybe it made it easier because my brother-in-law did married white women, and they're used to being around. Well, that would probably be
A sign not
Uh,
to.
yeah, they probably wouldn't be happy in that, but no, they accepted. I had no problem with my wife's family, and still to this day, I mean, I've never had no problem. I never had nobody even tell me anything like negative. Like, and it's funny. I watch these movies where interracial people get together interracially, and the families, their cultures are so different, and they have so many problems, and they're fighting amongst each other. Nothing like that at all. There's just two families. One had a son, one had a daughter, and they got married. That
People make it a much bigger deal than what it actually is. I
yeah,
don't I don't think it's anywhere near as serious as what people make it. And it's like even Godfrey, which is like perfect timing. Perfect timing. It wasn't even a real couple. It was
yeah,
it was a it was a picture of a couple. And those are probably two actors. They probably weren't even like really together. And it's just
yeah,
like
and
the triggering, like that triggered you.
yeah, and I found it weird because when I watch it, I'm like, wow, that's he's a celebrity. He could probably date who he wants, and
Hmm.
well, that's going to make him angry. I mean, it's an ad. It's okay, so it's in a predominantly black neighborhood, and well, I think it was. I don't think they just targeted that neighborhood. I just think they just sent it all over, and it happened to land in that neighborhood. But most of the people that probably live in that neighborhood could care less. They probably don't even think
Yeah.
about it. They probably just walk by it and don't even look at it.
And I'm
He
trying to think,
was,
wasn't he in Brooklyn? Because Brooklyn is not even Brooklyn is extremely gentrified now, so it's not even
it,
predominantly black.
yeah. He said the black area of Brooklyn. I don't know. I've never been there. I don't know how it is. I flew through the airport. That's as close as I got to New York in my
Oh,
life. Just changing planes, so I don't know. But
mm,
I mean, even if it was, I mean, who really cares? How is that
yeah,
really affecting your life? I mean, I've seen advertisements with black men and white women a lot in my neighborhood, and it's mostly white and Hispanic.
hmm,
And it never triggered me. I don't care.
yeah,
Well, and I've seen black men with white women all the time, and I'm like, it don't trigger. I don't care. That's who they want to be with. If they're happy, I'm happy for them. What's it got to do with me? And with him, what's it got to do with him? I mean, companies they go on trends. They go on what society, what's going on,
yep,
and interracial dating and marriage is going up, and they probably wanted to target that group.
exactly.
Okay.
I think it was a health insurance ad, so they're
Yeah.
probably targeting the families that they kind of see are that they're seeing trending, like like more
Yeah.
often. So they're targeting that family. So it's like I think that everyone sees this going up. I feel like thank God black women and white men are like finally like less scared or less they're listening, they're
Yeah.
tuning out everyone more and they're doing what they want more. You know what I mean? They're not listening to all of the standards that they're supposed to be listening to and how could you're watering yourself down and stuff like that. Like I just feel like for finally like we're not and that's the thing, white men will get that kind of thing from other white men, black women will get that kind of thing from other black women. So it's like all of us are not the same, you know what I mean? We're not all
Yeah.
capable of doing that. So when we do it, it's because we want to and we don't see anything wrong with it. But you still have those kind of like especially men, especially the black men, they're like, as much the kind of things that they say, like, all the problems they feel black women have, is there something about seeing a black woman with a white man. If that would have been a Hispanic man, he never would have stopped to make that video, I promise you. He never would have stopped to
Yeah.
make that video. It's only because it was with the white man, which is
Yeah. And
sad.
it's something psychological, you know. Uh, but I mean, I don't know. I can't relate to it because I don't have that mindset.
Yeah.
But I could see where it would go to that. If you study history and you see the evils and you say, gosh dang, these people just totally treated us like garbage and murdered us and raped us, and now she's with one of them. Well, that guy didn't do that. Like me, I get in. I've gotten into racial discussions where people tell me, "Well, your ancestors did this." Yeah, Well, they did that. Yeah. Okay. Well, you're evil. No, I'm not. I wasn't around. I didn't do that. I did. I think it's as wrong as you do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's I don't like talking about because I can't defend it. Okay, what am I going to say? Oh no, well it wasn't really like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just have to say, okay, well, where do we go here?
Mm-hmm.
What's the solution? All I can do is be the best person I am today.
Right. Exactly. And that's all.
But
That's all anyone can ask.
yeah, and most people, that's all they want from you. They're not blaming you for that stuff. But I guess the psychology, I can understand maybe he feels that way. But I mean, in today's well, if he feels that, well, then why would he mess with white women? Because he says he'll sleep with white women. He's okay with that. In fact, that billboard, he says, well, why didn't they have a black man and white woman? Because we invented it, we created it. So that kind of contradicts that. Okay, so you're sleeping with the oppressor's women.
Hmm. Remember, I told you that the
I
standard is on us. Like we're the ones that are supposed to uphold the race loyalty. Just
oh yeah,
us. Black men don't have to
just
do
you.
that. It's just on us to do that.
Oh
You see that? Do you see the double standard there? Like they want to police who we talk to and who we sleep with and who we're with. They're allowed to
yeah,
do whatever they want to do, but we're supposed to like uphold the race loyalty. Do you see this? And this is
yeah.
it's because of
I
men like that makes that like black women like we're, which is why some they just feel like I don't want to offend black men, or I don't want them to feel like I hate them. So I'm just going to stick to my own race because I want them to know that they matter and stuff like that. And it's like, I never said that they don't matter. I never said that I want to offend them. It's just, I just think it's like really unfair and like ridiculous to like put all this guilt trip and all this like past history stuff on us to think about like, well, what about this time and what about that time, what about all these times when this happened and that happened, and like when all I want is a relationship. When black women are dating, they want stable, healthy relationships. That's it. They're not trying to like fight, or they're not trying to like combat all of the injustices in history.
yeah, and well, and at the end of the day, we're all people and we want to be loved, accepted, and someone to be with us the rest of our life. That's well, a lot of us do, I guess. I don't know. Some people don't ever want to get married, but I always did. I want, me and my wife. I want to be with her forever. I want a family. I don't want to be dating everybody. I mean, that stuff when you're in your 20s and you're young, that's exciting and fun. But then, reality sets in.
Hmm.
It. And in fact, when I got married, I had more fun than when I was dating because
Yep.
I had someone that loves me. We had a family, had kids, and that was exciting. And of course, there's struggles in life, and having kids are expensive, and yes, you got to work hard, but it's worth it. At
Hmm.
the end, when I saw my daughter get her master's degree, I mean, I broke down like there's so much happiness.
Oh.
When I see my son, he's in the army, got, as an NCO now, and he's going up. I just like, I get emotional because that's something that it's a blessing.
Hmm.
And I've seen my younger daughter now going to college and doing awesome stuff. And I'm just like, that's what it's about. It ain't about being with different women and this and that. And it's
Hmm.
about family. And I tell you, um, you know, we we spent most of our time. Well, I was in the army most of the time we've been married, 20 years, and my kids grew up in it. And we never had a lot of money. We had enough, and we made it work. And now that I'm retired, well, we're both retired on our second career. We're living better than we ever did, and the kids are moved out. It's like you think, man, could we have reversed it to when we? That's just life. But
Yeah.
I mean, and our kids are better for it because we're married. And I would say, whether you marry interracially or not, I think it's just important you marry somebody that loves you and you make it work because you'll be better off. Your kids will be better off. And then through generations, your generation will be better off. I just think, and I'm not going in on people that don't get married and that haven't got married. I'm just saying, for me, I believe the traditional way is the best.
I agree. That's why I said I'm a traditional woman, and I don't want anything else. I don't want these new age um situations that people think are, a lot of these men don't even believe in marriage at all. They hate single
Yeah.
mothers. They hate, you know, promiscuous women. They hate women that aren't married, but they also don't believe in marriage, which is like, well, then what is woman supposed to do then? It's like,
They have to be promiscuous if you don't get married, or
hmm
they have to be that way. It makes no sense
hmm
unless you date just that one person forever.
right. But I mean, like, who, like, I already, I don't do that. Like, I don't do anything like that does not make sense. I don't know
Yeah,
how some women get caught up in these 15-year girlfriends type of situation. Like, that's
I,
not
yeah, that's
not.
you know
And
what?
a lot of women do that. A lot of women do that.
Yeah, and a lot of them are just holding out, hoping he's going
Yep.
just do it,
hmm
just come through and marry her, and they live. And I don't know. I say if it's a year and he still have, you gotta let him go.
Gotta
I
go.
mean, I knew my wife like 3 months, and bam, I popped the question. I wanted to do it. I want, and when a man wants to marry a woman,
Yep.
he ain't gonna wait forever.
Yep.
He wants it to happen,
Yeah.
and that's the way I was.
Yeah.
And my
That's
wife was
like.
that way too. But and we're traditional people, you
Mhm.
know, and that's why our marriage works because But
That's what
I
I
don't know.
learned from
Uh,
that one dating coach, Tony Gaskins. He was saying that, like, men don't need 15 years to figure out if they're going to marry you or not. He said if they're not on the road to proposing, at least by the first year, you're already on thin ice. Like, but if
yeah,
for
it's
one whole year to go by and there's no talk of marriage, and when once you get into 2 years, 3 years, you're wasting your time. Okay, and it isn't because I know he said men know. You
they
might give
do.
comfort. You might provide something for him that he's like not ready to let go of yet or whatever. You might be something, but whatever it is, you're not his wife. And right now
Yeah,
you're just filling up his space until he's ready, which is why, because I know I've always seen this. These women that will hold this man for years, then he leaves her and then he's married to the next girl in like a month, because it's like for whatever reason that's the one that he wanted to be with, and you were just a space holder or a placeholder.
yeah,
So it doesn't. I already know it doesn't take that long, which is why I have very low tolerance for any type of, if you don't sound right, you don't move, you're not moving right, like, you know I don't. And a lot of first marriages fail because people just don't vet right, or what I mean, or they're getting married for frivolous reasons. You know what I mean? So when you take your time, choose wisely. That's how you get a marriage like yours, because you two got married. Not because, even though I know you do love black women, that still doesn't mean that you don't have to take the time to get to know her. And it seems like you took the time to get to know her, and you two work, which is why 27 years
yeah,
later you're still together. It's not
yeah, yeah,
just because she's black.
yeah. You're right because the woman I dated before my wife,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't marry. I lived with her, and I was going to marry her, but um, and my dad, he's real traditional, and he would say, "Son, I don't feel good about the you get to know her better." Nah, she had her own place, and I wanted to move in. Bam, and she was a little older than me, and I was just. But the thing of it is she was a bad decision. She's a black woman. I was attracted to her. It's great, but she had anger issues. and she would beat the crap out of me.
Mm.
And I never defended myself because I was always taught you don't hit women, you protect them, you respect them. And I didn't have, I would get angry, I'd get upset. I mean, I got to where when she would do this, I'd break things, I'd punch through a window, through a
That sounds
wall, I
like
did
toxic.
all kinds. And I knew if I would have put my hands on her, I would have hurt her bad. I could have possibly killed, but I didn't have I couldn't do it,
Mm-hmm.
and she would get to where I'm sorry, it'll never happen again. And I think about when women that are abused, they tell them the same thing, but I wouldn't fight her because that's a woman.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing I had that women don't is she's not going, keep me restrained. I can leave when I want, and I
Right.
did.
Right.
But I mean, that was a
I'm
black.
glad you
I
didn't marry
mean,
her.
oh no, and thank God I didn't. But yeah, and that just goes to show. But most black women I dated had been pleasant. That was just one time that it just went south, and it was awful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she cared about me, but she just had an anger issue
Mm-hmm.
and just haul off and hit me, and it was weird.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and it'd be over little things.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah, she was definitely dealing with something, but you're not supposed to like when you're dealing with that type of like whatever past trauma, you're not supposed to be dating at a time like that. You're supposed to be healing
yeah,
yourself, not dating, because you're not ready to date. You're not ready to give love or receive love because right now you have to focus on healing. And once you're
yeah,
healed, then you're ready. But she's taking out that anger on you. But I mean, I don't know. It's just like I said. Just because she's black doesn't mean that you have to marry her. Like you could see her
no,
character and
no,
her personality, and you saw it wasn't a good fit. And it's like that's why I said all of that. Like dating or in this revolving door of it never working. It's like if you take the time to get to know someone, you can know if this person will be a good fit in your life. But it's like you date with intention, and that's because that's how you're supposed to date. That's how you choose a life partner. You date with intention, not
yeah,
like they're white, okay, let's go, you're white, that's it. Oh, you're black, let's
yeah.
go. That
That's good enough till you meet that
that's
person. Like,
like,
oh
are
my
you kidding
God,
me?
what did I do?
There's like 80 million white people in the world. Like that has no merit at all. So like this, like that's one of the misconceptions. Like how you say the fetishization gets on your nerves. The misconception that like we just date because white people are, white men are like, just the best option ever is like, yeah, I know that's not true. You know what I mean? You
No,
have to
it's
get to
not.
know. You have to get to know each and everything. You don't get a free pass. You don't get any like free passes for being white. Okay, you don't get any free passes for being black. You have to, show your character. Then and that's it. That's how you date properly. But I want to ask you something though because I've heard this talking
Okay.
point too. Um, sometimes black men say that like black women seem like we're so like much more softer and submissive when we're with white men. They say that they see a side of black women that they don't ever get to see themselves. And they feel like we're like perhaps acting like we're like are we like acting like we're softer or more feminine or something like that? I don't know. Have you ever heard that before?
Yeah, I have heard that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I've heard it. I've heard it several times actually.
Oh, from who? From
Well, from YouTube, and I heard guys at work say it. Black guys that I work with
okay.
have even said it. Yeah, because and I I don't even know how I would even answer that because I don't I've heard it, but I don't experience it. I
Hmm.
think I'd have to be a black woman to know whether, but I don't know. I have heard it though, but I don't. The women that I've been with, I don't think they were acting. I
Mhm.
think they're just being themselves.
Mhm.
And
Clearly, that your last girlfriend before your wife wasn't
well,
too.
I guess that was masculine. Yeah, she beating the
Yeah.
crap out of me. Okay, I stand corrected. There was one case. No, but she had mental problems. There's something going on,
Hmm.
and it wasn't she was being masculine. She just had an anger problem, and
Right.
she'd lash out at me. And I mean, you have arguments, but she go to the extreme.
Mm.
Like I was working late. She got mad at me one time, and I had to work overtime. But we didn't have much money, and I was in my young 20s, so I didn't have a skill that I could get a career job. So I was doing like minimum wage jobs. I had like three jobs going, and I
Mm.
was trying to make it work. And I would work a lot, and she thought I was doing some stuff. I
Mm.
guess going through her mind, and I wasn't. I've never been the cheating type. If I'm in, I'm in. I mean, but
Mm.
I mean, she just had issues, and it was, you know, uh, something that I experienced. I really didn't want to, but I mean, it's one of life's learning things. You got to vet people,
Mhm.
and then grace of God, my wife came along, and bam, I found the right one, and it worked out. But
I guess as far as the acting more feminine thing, I
uh
guess
huh,
I don't know. Because I never heard that before either until like recently. But I do
yeah,
remember like and I've only really heard black men say that. But I remember watching these two guys. It's this other YouTube channel. It's kind of like another management channel.
uh
It's
huh,
called Mediocre Tutorials. And so there were these two black guys like reacting to why they think black women like seem more submissive. And it's like I don't know. I think black men might have a very warped view of what submissive is and what feminine is, because it's like I just don't really know how to explain that when a woman like feels loved and safe, yeah, she's gonna be like all over you. You know what I mean? She's gonna be all over
yeah.
you. She's gonna not even keep her hands off of you. That's just how we are. Women are women. It's like when black women are, and like any other woman, I've seen like you've never
Yeah.
seen a white woman just like can't keep her hands off her husband. Like,
Yeah, and it just yeah, and well with that submissive thing, and I believe that if the man's doing what he's supposed to, the woman's going to be there for him. And it's
right,
not because it's her duty or it's biblical or she's just supposed to submit. She's just going and just naturally do it
it's just
because she
naturally
wants
women.
to.
Yeah.
And the man's going to sacrifice for her because he loves her.
Hmm.
And you look at it biblically, it says the woman submit to the man, but the man submit to God. You
Hmm.
get perfect love that way, and nobody's being abused that way. You know
Right.
what I mean?
And
Because you don't
also,
want to submit to a man that treats you like garbage, right?
no, the
It just
Bible
kind
says
of
that
don't
a
work.
man should treat his wife the way that he treats his own body, and no man has ever mistreated his
Yeah, his
wife.
own flesh. So you don't want to
Right,
hurt yourself. Well,
right.
so yeah, and it says that man's supposed to love his wife like Jesus loves the church, and
Hmm.
he would die for the church. So what's that tell you?
Exactly, exactly. Thank you.
So if you're doing that for your wife,
Hmm.
why wouldn't she submit to you?
Exactly. It's only natural.
Yeah,
It's only
of course.
natural, and it's like it's just like a lot of these men that say that it's like they don't understand, because a lot of times they don't know how to give that kind of love, or they just I don't know, they're getting this really bad information from these Kevin Samuels types. They're getting this really bad
Yeah,
information from these men that tell you to play with women and manipulate them and stuff like that. You're not going to get the best out of a woman when you're using war tactics against her. Okay, you're
you're
not going to get
not.
the best out of her.
And then sooner or later, you're going to lose her because she
Yes.
can only take so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. And I see that stuff, and I'm like, and what's weird is you see some of these guys that what's that word simp? I've been called that
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
I express how much I love my wife, and I'll say good things about black women, their character and stuff, and I believe that. And but somehow that's a negative. Why is
Mhm.
that a negative? I mean, aren't you supposed to protect your wife? Aren't you supposed to put your wife and kids above yourself?
Mhm.
I was told that's what you're supposed to do. And if you love them, you're going to do it anyway. You know, and I think that that's teaching men to kind of dog out their women, and it's toxic, and it's going to lead to problems because I mean, it's not a weakness because you put your wife first.
Mhm.
It's not like she's controlling you and dictating everything you do. No, you're still the head of the house,
Right.
and but you love her, so you're going to look out for her. You're going to put her first. And that to me is just it's just crazy that that's a negative now. I don't know. And these dating gurus that say, and I don't get it. How is that even going to work? I mean, how can the man be the prize? I mean, ain't the man supposed to pursue the woman because she's beautiful, and he's looking for that woman that's not just beautiful but caring, that's loyal, that's going to be a good wife and a good mom.
Mhm.
And but if I'm busy telling her how much of a prize I am, and
Mhm.
trying to look prettier than her, then what the heck are we doing?
That's wrong.
I
Okay, and
mean,
it's like, yeah, that's and if you're the prize and if you're like the feminine one, basically, wouldn't that make her the masculine one? And is she supposed to
yeah, and
be
then she have to take care of me
normal?
while I sit on the
Yeah,
couch.
it's out of order. And like,
Yeah,
I am honestly, I don't know if these men really even fully believe this. I really think it has to be mostly entertainment because I'm like, you can't really be
it has to be because
yeah, this is just a little too off.
yeah, and I think when he comes on his show, he brings these women in. I think he just kind of dogs them for the shock value
Right, right. Absolutely.
because, and people get entertained by that. Like watch him tell her how she's not that pretty, and you need to just marry down or die alone. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
Honestly, I I don't know why women call into that show. I will never understand that. But it's like, hey, but you know what? These women, they're looking for advice. Okay, they're looking for
yeah,
something, and also I think that like a lot of times people just want to go viral, and they're willing to do it by and clear. We were of course in the age where going viral is the thing, where
yeah,
you do something stupid and you go viral for it. You know what I mean? Like remember how that one girl accidentally put gorilla glue in her hair and her hair was
yes,
stuck in the
yeah,
same style for a whole month. You know what I mean? It's like who knows what's going to go viral next. I really think a lot of women call them because they're hoping to like be caught in a viral moment. Maybe I don't think they're really looking for advice or anything. But
I,
what I wanted to say because I want to like I really like talking about why white men and black women work because it's like some of these people want to believe that like it's impossible or like it's just it's very few relationships. But one of the other reasons that I really that I've noticed is that a lot of black women are very comfortable in traditional gender roles. You know, we don't want that backwards thing, that like
yeah,
backwards, where the man is the prize. We're very comfortable in traditional gender roles, especially if she's like a stay-at-home wife and the
yeah,
man is the one out working and she's homemaking and taking care of the home and taking care of him, raising the kids and stuff like that. Oh, we love that.
yeah, yeah, and you're right. I mean, my wife loves me to take care of her, cuddle her and tell her she's beautiful and all this. She knows I believe that. She knows I love her, but I tell her that all the time. She likes to hear that. And I think women just like to have that security, you know, and be, and I think it's more natural for the woman to be the prize and be told she's beautiful. And, you know, than a man, because really my wife don't need to tell me that I look good. That ain't going to bother me if she don't. She tells me loves me. She loves me. That's good enough. That's great. But I will tell her she's beautiful. I'll compliment her. I'll do little things for her, and I think that's what women want. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she does a lot for me. And it's not because she's supposed to. It's just she wants to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in any relationship, any marriage, if you give all yourself, you get all of that person and more.
Yep.
50-50, someone gets a little more than the other. But if you're all giving, and that's why white men and black women work, because they're given everything
Mm-hmm.
and it's coming together. And then they vet themselves uh, a lot rougher than black men and white women. And I think that's why they last longer.
Yeah.
Because, if white men and black women just got there, just jumped in together,
Mhm.
it wouldn't last as long. But when you know what you're up against and you're at that point, that's what you want. You don't care what anybody thinks. You don't care what your family thinks. You don't care what your brothers, sisters, cousins, mom, and dad. This is what you want. You're going to have it. Once you get to there, it's going to work because that's what you really want.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
I wanted to ask you something too.
okay.
Uh, because you know that there's definitely like this misconception that like black women are like angry, and like, do
Uh
you
huh.
think that there's like, I mean, this, despite the one woman that you did date, do you think there's like, what do you think is really behind it? Because I remember one time you were saying that like you think that we're more passionate, and we
Yeah.
just, okay.
Um.
Could you like just explain that again, or like, you know, expound on that a little bit more?
Well, it's a stereotype or perception. Um. We see it on TV. Um. I think sometimes black women they are passionate on their beliefs. They'll tell you what they think, but it's not out of anger and they want to fight you. But I think the media, Hollywood, has taken it to the extreme and taken that one time and presented it as that's how they are. And you see it on TV, you see it in movies. You see like movies with Tiffany Haddish. She acts crazy, and and some people believe that that's how black women are, and they're not. And I haven't really met angry black women. And that woman that was like that, she wasn't an angry person. It just something triggered her. It was a shocker because she wasn't that way except those times. And I don't know what happened, what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, in every group of people, you have that one person that has issues, anger issues. And but with black men, I never experienced that. Was that one time? That was one of those times, and I think it was that she was a little older than me, and she wanted to. I think she was trying to control me, and I was just trying to. I was young and dumb. I didn't really, but I mean, there's many white women that do that too. So I mean,
Do you
I
remember that one couple? It was called John and Kate plus eight.
uh
They had like a TV show. They had like eight kids, and they had like a TV show for like a couple of years.
I think vaguely.
Mhm. That was the most controlling woman I've ever like. That was one of the most controlling women I've ever seen. Like, she was like extremely controlling of him, and they definitely did eventually break up. But
Uh
actually,
huh.
like because that guy, he came on like another TV show, and he started talking more about like that relationship,
Uh
and
huh.
he just kind of seemed kind of wimpy, honestly, to me. He came off like someone that just didn't really know how to stand up for himself.
Yeah.
And because what I want to do is like, I want to correct the definition of simp. Okay, a simp is not a man that takes care of his family. A simp is a man that doesn't know how to be assertive. He doesn't know how to set boundaries, and he doesn't know how to stand up for himself. Like even to a woman, like he'll let a woman run all over him and do things that are not appropriate. And it's like because he kind of like gave his power away like that. She's the one that felt like she's the one that was wearing the pants, and like she would like
Okay.
run him all over the place. You know what I mean? Like she was like, and I don't know if I want to use. I mean, I don't think she was angry. I just think she was like extremely controlling, and he
Yeah,
just kind
maybe
of like
she had to
let it
because of
happen.
him. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. No, so that's the term. I don't know. I thought it was something like that. Like the
Hmm.
woman controls it all, and man don't have a backbone. He just does whatever she tells him.
Yeah, that's what I
You know,
thought a simp was.
my but I think people have a misconception with that to where if you express love for a woman, it's like
Hmm.
you're a simp. You're
Hmm.
like you gotta not let her know she's beautiful, or and I've heard men say that. Why you got to tell her she's beautiful and stuff? Like what the hell? I mean, that don't make you weak. I mean, and if you sacrifice for it, that makes you strong because you're doing without you're putting yourself aside for your family,
Hmm.
and you can be in charge. You can be making things happen, but you just have compassion.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think that's where that gets skewed. But
Yeah, definitely misconstrued. But because like I always say, like I don't from this definition of simp is like I want the simp. I don't want the alpha man. If that's how alpha men are, and they, you know, this YouTube definition of alpha man, no, thank you.
that's
That
not
is
an alpha man. That's a
yeah,
dictator. That's
yeah.
the alpha man. He's in charge, but he's taking care of his family.
Mhm.
E- Even if you look in the wild with animals, like you say, like cattle. Okay, you got the bull in there. He's in charge. He's the strongest, but he looks out for the cows or whatever. He's protective
Mhm.
of the herd,
Mhm.
and he'll sacrifice himself for the herd. I mean, that's kind of how I look at it.
Mhm.
You can be the alpha, but you're looking out for your family because your wife and kids are the weaker of the group. The
Mhm.
man's got to take care of them.
Right.
And, it's not so much in the wild or like that, but like you got to be the man. You got to work. You got to make money. You got to pay the bills. And I, I came with that in the marriage. My dad always paid the bill and he taught me to do it. And I just did it.
Mhm.
And that's the way my wife's family does. So she didn't really go into that. I handled it because that's what I was taught to do.
Mhm.
And my wife did the wife thing because that's how she was taught by her mom and stuff. And
Yeah.
we both come from traditional families, so it that makes it easier for us too because we're taught a certain way.
Right. I
But
was
I
gonna
mean, we have to have the character to make it happen too.
Yeah. I was going to say that I do agree that there is definitely some problems with like modern day like feminism because I know where feminism started and
Uh-huh.
there's there's a few things that I think matter and that's I don't know like equal pay for doing the same job. I don't think a man should be getting paid more for doing the same job as a woman. You know what I mean? Just because he's a man.
Yeah.
Definitely
Well,
sexual harassment at work or sexual harassment anywhere. Those are things I don't even think those are feminist ideas though. Like I don't understand why you think
no,
sexual
real
harassment.
men wouldn't let other men
Yeah,
harass women.
right. Like
So
that's
yeah.
stupid. I will say that like a lot of these that there are feminist ideas out here that like because first of all I'm not a feminist and
Mhm.
the same way like you'll get called simp for wanting to provide for your family, like we'll get called feminist. You know, oh, you signed up for modern day feminism, and you got on board with white women's feminism and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, I didn't. I love traditional men.
Yeah.
I don't want to see. There's feminists out here that believe society would be better without men, and I don't agree with that at all. society would be so boring without men. I love men. Are you kidding me? I don't even like to go to a party if I don't know there's going to be men there. Okay, I don't want to go to a party and it's going to be a whole bunch of women. Like, yeah, okay, you can see your
Yeah,
girlfriends or whatever, but no, I want to go there to see men. Okay, like I
yeah,
love men, so like I'm not a feminist there by any means at all. But there's definitely like there's some very like I remember there was this one feminist movement a few years ago, but I haven't really heard much about it since. It was kind of weird. It was called free. It was called Free the Nipple, and it was basically like where they were like when men can walk around without a shirt on, and women should be able to walk around without a shirt on too.
oh, I haven't heard about that one.
I'm like, come on, like women that are on this kind of thing where they like, oh, women can do anything a man can do. Women should be able like,
Mm,
no, no, women and men are different. You know what I mean? And I think that is definitely part of what's like messing up the dating scene and messing up relationships is when women try to say we can do everything that a man can do, or men want to role reverse and be in the, be princesses and stuff like that. Like that's role reversal, and
yeah,
that's
look
not
for someone to take care of them.
yeah, that's not how it's supposed to work. So yeah,
Yeah,
like modern day feminism and like some of those like weird ideas. I'm like, why would you want to walk around topless just because men do too? That is so weird.
yeah, that's
You never heard of that one?
no, I haven't.
Free the nipple.
Uh, now I've heard of groups of women going topless, marching and stuff like that.
Oh God, I haven't heard of
Maybe
that
that was like one of them.
one.
And
Maybe so.
I there was something somewhere where they're walking across the bridge naked. Women, I guess, to show their freedom, they can do it. I guess I don't know. It was some weird thing, but
I almost
yeah, I
didn't get
haven't
that
heard of it.
down.
Huh?
I almost didn't get that water down. I almost spit it out when you said that.
Yeah, I I don't know. I that's crazy though.
Yeah.
I mean I don't know. I yeah that's yeah I haven't heard of that. I have to look that up. But
Mhm.
was that like a few years ago or something?
Yeah, it was like a few years ago, and it was like all of this, research about how it's just like this thing where women have to be exactly and equally the same as men, and it's like
Yeah.
I don't agree with that at all. Men are different.
No.
Men are different. And that's
Yeah.
okay. Women are different too. Where we both have roles that we are naturally meant to play. Our roles are God given. We're supposed to play the roles that we're here for. And it's like all of this, like stepping into a man's shoes. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do
Yeah.
that.
And if we do it the right way, we complement each other.
Yes.
That's we have that balance. And I think this feminist movement sometimes got to where as women felt they weren't equal unless they're doing what men are doing. But I
Hmm.
mean, I would say this: we're equal in value, but
Hmm.
we have different roles. There's stuff one can do that the other can't,
Hmm.
and that's just God's plan how He made us. Um,
Yes.
we have roles to play. I mean,
Hmm.
I can't. It gets screwed up if I stay at home and you know look pretty while my wife goes and breaks her back at a job. I mean, that's just no. But I mean, men and women, they're equal in value,
Hmm.
but their abilities are different, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, a man can lift more than a woman, but women give birth. I mean, a man can't do that. I mean, that's just how God made us, and we can't, as people, can't survive one without the other.
Hmm.
We need each other, and I look at that, and that's why I've been traditional, and I just it works better. I mean, I might grow old. I still have my wife, my kids. I have a family that loves me. Now, if I'm dating everybody till I'm 65, 70, what do I have at the end of the day?
Hmm.
I'm going to die alone.
Men are gonna grow old. They're gonna be the ones that end up dying alone with
Yeah, and like,
those
and you,
attitudes.
yeah, and a lot of these women that come on this show, I would say this, and I believe this, because some of the women ain't, some of the women are pretty and they got positive things going, but
Mhm.
sometimes he just dogs them out. I mean, certain ones that he finds beautiful, he's a little easier on, I've noticed.
Mhm.
But that's, I lost my train of thought. I was going to say, but we all have our place, and at the
Mhm.
end of the day, we want to be loved. And for me, my belief is a traditional family: the man, the woman, and the children. And how we conduct ourselves and how we live our lives, our kids, our grandkids, our generations, we're either going to put a curse on them or we're going to pass down a blessing.
Wow.
And I believe that.
Mhm.
And my marriage is not just benefiting me, my wife, it benefits our kids, our grandkids. Um, it's more structured. There's more love, there's more family than if I just dated out and had kids with different women, then I can't be with my kids all the time. And they don't get all of me. And, it just, I mean, that's why I believe in it. And of course, it's in my faith too.
Yes. Yeah.
But,
Definitely.
I think if my wife was a single mom and I just, had kids with her, I don't think my kids would be as successful as they are today.
Mhm. Yeah, marriage gives the kids the best possible chance. That's the most stable, most secure way, the healthiest way to raise two kids. I mean, to raise kids with two parents in the home,
Yeah.
because the mother brings something that the father does not. The father brings something that the mother does not. So when these men sit online and blame the single mothers for their kids not coming out right, I'm like, yeah, duh. There was no father
But,
there. They're missing. They're
so,
lacking.
and somebody had to make them a single mom. They didn't just do it
Right.
on their own.
Well, they don't admit that part. They just kind of leave
Well,
that part out.
a bad thing in our society is a lot of times women get blamed, and that's all races, I would say. You
Mhm.
know, men, look how society growing up. You've seen it. Women that are promiscuous are looked down on. They're
Mhm.
shamed. Men that do it, they're kind of like held up like a hero.
Yep.
They're both wrong. I mean, but I society, society. That's how we look at it, and it.
Mhm.
Well, I'm not saying that's how we. Generally, that's how people look at it.
Yeah, it is. It's true. It's like slut shaming and
Yeah,
promiscuity. It's like, as a woman, you're still held to the standard that you're not supposed to be, like, you're not supposed to be that way. But
yeah,
men can definitely do whatever they want to do. Now, like I said, I don't use society's laws and standards and any of that stuff like that, even regarding abortions and stuff like that. Like, I use God's standards and I use God's laws. So, like,
yeah,
I'm not promiscuous because God says that that's wrong. I don't believe in abortions because God says that that's wrong. So I could care less what society is okay with or whatever like that. But that's what I stick to, because that's the easiest way to avoid all of these weirdos. That's how I think that's the best way to avoid being stuck in a situation that didn't work out, that you don't want to be in, is to, like, and everyone's not religious, but I mean, it's like
yeah,
there's good in it. There's good in those rules. You know what I mean? They're meant as a protection. You know what I mean? It's saved
yeah,
me from all kinds of dumb situations.
yeah. And it's you got to be disciplined. You know,
Hmm.
uh, men and women are attracted to each other, and we all have our desires and that stuff. And there's a time and place for that.
Hmm.
And I have my desires with my wife and no one else, and that's between us. And it's good, it's of God, but we take those marital desires and we use it as like a recreational thing, and
Mhm.
that's where it tears down society.
Mhm.
And I've heard people talk about friends with benefits and stuff, but that's not
Mhm.
right. And someone might look at it as just having fun, but the other person, it's going to mentally affect you. And
Yeah. There's definitely
but when
times
you're
where
married, you're with that person, and it's real. It's real
yeah.
love. It's not physical. It's not lust. It's you love that person, and that's a way you show your love for that person. It's part of love. It's not all love. Some people think you know sexual stuff is love, but it's not. It's a part of it. And in my faith, it's in marriage and not supposed to be anything else.
Mhm. Yep.
And I think we'd be better off in society if we thought that way. But I mean, people are going to do what they want to do and stuff, and I'm not going to
Hey,
judge them for it. But that's how I
no,
live.
I don't judge either. But listen, I don't deal with people like that. Like all you have to do is kind of like talk to people a little bit. Like that's why I said it's so important to not give all this credit to someone just for being white or just for being black. You have to see if you share the same values. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to deal with anybody that sees abortion as an option. So like if I'm
Yeah,
talking to a guy and he's like, oh yeah, um my ex got pregnant, but we weren't ready, so she had an abortion, and I was like, thank God, because in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, you ain't the one.
yeah.
I don't like people that think like that. That's like I remember one of my I went on this one date and this guy was like, his ex had gotten pregnant, but he was like, fortunately, she miscarried. Like he said, fortunately, and I was just like, huh.
So
So
fortunately, a
technically,
human being lost their life, so he don't have to be on the hook, I guess.
yeah, check please. That's the end of that one because that
Yeah.
clearly
Oh,
you just
missed
showed,
that
yeah,
one.
your values. Yeah, your values do not. Our values do not align. If I were to get pregnant by accident, something like that, I would be stuck by myself, or whatever. It would not be good. So I mean, you just have like one conversation. People reveal themselves all the time. You know what I mean? So it's so important not to just
Yeah.
you know put all of this merit on skin color, because that does not tell you anything about a person's values at all. But I wanted to tell you there's one misconception of white men that I've seen pushed so much in the media, and like
Uh.
I used to like watch these these Lifetime movies,
Uh huh.
um, and I thought Lifetime was a channel for women. I thought it was like a women's empowerment channel, but it was like
Mm.
all domestic violence movies. Like it
Oh
was
yeah.
always like the white guy who like works. He goes to work. He seems normal on the outside, but then like it was like sort of like this thing where like white men are all like wife beaters. Like they're all gonna like beat you up when you get home.
Well, no, we're not all like that, but there are some white men that are wife beaters. Sadly,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I don't know that. Yeah, there's misconceptions about all kinds of stuff,
Hmm.
but yeah, you're right. That channel does show a lot of domestic violence
A
stuff.
lot, a lot, and it was to me where it was almost like I would almost say that's like propaganda almost. How much they should, because I thought it was a women's empowerment channel, but it was always
Uh,
like the women can never have any power until they stand up to their abusive husband, and then like that's their power. And it's never outside of anything else like that. It's always like this, she has to like find confidence and find strength to this man that won't stop hitting her. And I'm just like, oh my God. So again, that's like I said, it's one of those ways that like black women are kind of like, you know, told or want to go, if you're with the white man, they
he's
do
going to
this,
beat the crap out of you.
yeah.
I heard some YouTuber say that too. I forget who it was. He was saying that now that you said that, he was saying, yeah, you get with the white man, he's going to fetishize you and he's going to beat the crap out of you.
Hmm.
I'm like, wait a minute, I don't do that. What are you talking about? what? Who is this person?
Oh my God. Yeah, like it's that's why I said I just feel like I don't know, I just kind of like realized recently that like wow, white men and black women have we share like we both have positive stereotypes, but we also share a lot of the same negative stereotypes too. We have
Yeah,
like so many of the same bad labels.
and you know what's funny is I saw on YouTube some lady was saying, "Oh, data waiting. I don't know if I could do that." I've heard white men say that the same thing. I'm like, wow, I've heard that before, but it wasn't a black woman that said that. It's like, hmm. And then telling these women what they got to do. This Kevin Samuels thing. I said, dang, that's what us as men are told to do.
Hmm.
And it's kind of like we're going through the same thing. It's weird. And some of the things that black women say, white men and stuff, white men say the same thing.
Hmm.
It's yeah, and there, and I think that's the least likely group to marry is white men and
Yeah.
black women. I think it's the most least likely, but
It's
most
the
successful.
yeah, exactly. It's the least likely because of all of these. And you know what? And I just I think it's something to it with the fact that the way that they keep putting it like in movies and television shows and they kind of put it out like I always like noticed that like the face of like the battered housewife was like the white woman with the blue eye and stuff like that. Like, you know, that I remember it was like back when Trump was still president. There was this
Hmm.
guy that had like this picture leak of his wife and he was like abusing her and it was like this like 3 month trending thing. Like he lost his job because he had got hired in the White House and he lost his job in the White House because like the picture leaked of his wife that he had like beat up. But it was just
I
like it was one of many scandals. There was too many scandals to
I
count.
have to look at that. Yeah.
Mhm. It was too many scandals to count. But it was like that was just one of them that I like remember. And I just remember thinking, man, they go hard on white men when they find out that they're like women beaters, like they go hard on them. Like they'll cancel them completely, you know.
Oh yeah. We're. Oh yeah.
But it's kind of like not that it's not it is kind of like taken less seriously when other races do that. It's like it's not as much of a scandal. It's not that it doesn't matter, but it's like way less of a scandal, you
I
know.
wonder. I wonder if it is because maybe they're athletes. Because when I've seen abusive relationships when it's like minorities and stuff, it seems like they're athletes,
Hmm.
football players or something like that. And I don't think athletes are held to the same standard as like someone in the corporate world or someone that's
Yeah,
got a regular
yeah.
job.
Hmm.
I think yeah, they'll get fined. Yeah, they might get kicked off the team for a while or
Hmm.
but it's like they can come back. It's like they can to
But
where
white
like
men.
in my job if they found out I beat my wife, I'd be done. There
Hmm.
would be no coming back.
Hmm.
But if I was a super athlete, well, they would shade me and find me some money, and then I'd be back on the field.
Hmm. So yeah, it's like I
I
do think that it should be taken seriously no matter what because it's unacceptable no matter what. But I'm just like I'm saying I
yeah.
noticed that there is a higher standard for white men who commit domestic violence, and the white woman is always kind of posted up like the face of domestic violence. You know what I mean? Like what domestic violence looks like. So like when it's a black woman, it's just like who's like going through domestic violence, it's not a picture, you know what I mean? It's not something that people see like that, or it's just not taken that seriously. And I mean, I don't really know why. Like I said, this
Uh,
is like I don't know the psychology behind it. Who I don't know, who cares? But it's just like
Maybe
I
they
guess
look at white women as innocent and
yeah. Oh yeah, exactly.
fragile and
Mhm.
the victim. I don't know.
Yes, that's why. That's so true. That's so true. It's true. It's like they are seen as like more fragile, more weak, more like innocent and feeble and stuff like that. And so that is one of the other misconceptions of black women, that when people say we're strong, which is why I don't like that word at all, because it's like we can handle abuse, we can we can like take punches. No, we cannot. We cannot handle abuse. We cannot take, fighting men and all that. Like, no, we can't take that. So,
Yeah.
but I've heard like white men say that like one of the things they love about black women is their strength. But I don't think you mean physical strength.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say I like their strength, but not physical, like she's going to wrestle me to the ground type thing.
So what do you mean? Can you explain that?
Okay. What I mean is like she's strong, like she's committed to me. She's got my back. Like I'll give an example with when I came out of the army, I had this job and I was making 100,000 a year,
Mm.
and it was like man,
It's the
more
I
money.
got you man.
Yeah, I was it then, and we were most money we had in our life, and plus I had my retirement, so I was like, man, this is awesome.
Mm.
Well, I went to that job and I was go overseas, and what had happened is some of my blood work came messed up. Uh, my liver, there was something going on. It was enlarged, and it wasn't from drinking or nothing like that. It was just and it and they found it in the blood work. Well, somehow that disqualified me. So the job I quit to go do this job to make the $100,000. Now I had no job,
Mm.
and I had to come home, and I mean that was tough. You
Yeah.
give someone that much money and you just take it from them, and I still had a mortgage, I had bills, three kids, um, and then my retirement from the army is like a third of what I was getting when I was in.
Mm.
So now, what do? You feel helpless, and I was down, and my wife just. And I told my wife, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Gosh, and she just looked at me, and I said, what about the house? And she looked at me and just looked at me in the eye and says, well, whether we live in a mansion or a cardboard box, I still love you. You're my husband. It'll be okay.
Mm.
And just, I was distraught. And she was like, it's going to be all right. We're going to make it. You'll be fine. It'll be okay. And by her telling me that, she was being strong. Her telling me that gave me so much confidence.
Mm.
From the moment she said that, I had all the confidence in the world.
Mm.
And we recovered from that. And yes, we're still able to pay our house note, and we're still able to pay our bills, and we made it through, and we ended up better off than we were before.
Mm.
And she just, I have faith in God. We're gonna be all right.
Mhm.
And I wasn't so sure. I was like, oh my God, what am I do? You know. And I was like, God, why did you just rip the rug right out from under me?
Mhm.
It worked out, and she was tough in that situation. Of course, she was worried too. I mean, but she was just letting me know where no matter what happens, I love you, and you know, and that just lifted me so high, and that's a supporting role, that she knew I was working hard, doing the best I can, and that happened, but it's going to be okay, and we got through it.
Mhm.
So that would be an example of being strong.
Strength, yeah.
Her faith. She
Mhm.
wasn't physically strong, like she's going, well, you better get a job, and got me in the chokehold and took me down. But she was strong in her faith, and she
Mhm.
believed God was going to be okay. She believed I'm going to rebound. We're going to be all right. And that oh my God, that was like the best thing she ever said to me in
Yeah.
that time. That was like, wow. You know what? And with my wife, she's brought out the best in me because I never want to fail because of her. I want to do be the best I can be for her because I love her and she supported me in that. And she
Mhm.
would live in a box with me. She loves me that much.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not going to put her in that position. We're not going, but I mean, regardless of how much I have, or there's true love there. So, and she's strong in that. That's what be an example of being strong,
Okay.
not being loud, wanting to fight you. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
That's so awesome. And first of all, that also defeats the notion that black women are only here for your money. They're only here to like when you're up, and then we're not here when you're down. Because
no,
first
that
of
ain't
all,
true. My wife was here when I had nothing to where
mhm,
we do very well,
mhm.
you know, and we started out with nothing. We started out, I got married. I went in the army and we weren't making no money. And when we got married, we got a 2 bedroom, I know, a 1 bedroom apartment. And I was in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. I don't know if it's in the middle of nowhere.
Mm.
But the army didn't pay a lot of money and I had no rate, so I wasn't making nothing. And we had a 1 bedroom apartment and then we paid like 250 a month. And they provided free cable.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, but I was back then. I was making being married like $1,200 a month,
Hmm.
which that's nothing. Can you imagine trying to survive on that today? Oh my god.
Yeah, no. Today, back then, today, no. My rent isn't even that. I'm like $600 short on the rent
Yeah,
a month.
but back then, and it was enough, and we didn't have much, and I remember times that we would what I do is I pay the bills, buy the food, and then whatever's left, we work with. And okay, we could go to the movies this day, go out and eat this day, and we had to budget it out and figure out what we can do. And we would get together and then we'd go to dollar movies, scrape up change,
Mhm.
and we'd have fun, me, the wife, and kids, and we didn't have nothing. So she would, and we were happy, and now we're doing very well
Mhm.
and still happy. I mean, and I could say my wife didn't marry me for my money because I had none when we got married. We
Mhm.
pretty much built it together. I mean,
Mhm.
but I don't think black women are like that at all. I'm
Mhm.
sure there's some out there that are. I mean, there are in every group, but I haven't experienced that.
Mhm.
Well,
Me.
I haven't. I got married at 24, while my wife was 25, so I never really had no woman come at me because I've been married all that time.
Mhm. Yeah. I would
You
say to
know,
be like, hmm?
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say to be fair, like most relationships are like that. They're both like average incomes. Like
Yeah,
we're not like most relationships. You will have sometimes where women are get with men that are like really wealthy, like Eve married this
yeah,
billionaire man. You know what I mean? Or
yeah,
Jodie Turner Smith married like that actor, um, or Serena Williams and stuff like that. So like it does happen, but like averagely, on like on average, black women
yeah,
are just marrying regular. We're not like going after like
yeah,
super wealthy white men. We're just marrying regular, average white men.
yeah.
We're not marrying like
And yeah, you're right. And those women like Eve, I mean, she was well off too. I mean, he's a billionaire, of course, but and Serena Williams,
yeah,
she was.
Serena Williams.
They're millionaires too, so it kind of, you know. But yeah, most of us marry average people because we're average. I
Hmm.
mean, I would say, I'm middle class. I'm in the upper middle class, but I'm still middle class. I still got to budget my money. I still got to work. I still got to do that type stuff. Um, I'm an everyday guy. I do well because I have 2 careers and my wife does. So we do very well. In the state we live in, New Mexico, our median income is 47,000 a year. That's a married. So I mean, it's
Oh
cheap to live
wow.
here. our taxes are high, but I mean, per capita, I mean, you buy a house for 250, 300,000 new home, easy. And you're in New York, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you probably have to come up with $1 million or something close.
I will not be doing it here. I am going to stay in the city, but I would never buy a house because it's not even. It's just. It's like, why would I buy $1 million house just because it's in New York? It's not. It's not $1 million property. It's not $1 million.
Yeah,
Like even the neighborhood I live in now, it's like the properties start at like $750,000, but that's just the going rate for houses over here. They're not. These
yeah,
is not worth that kind of money at all. So it's just how New York is, and I guess that's why this whole like six-figure man thing kind of goes over my head because I'm just like in New York,
that
that's not a lot of money. That's like
and
nothing.
yeah, that's pretty common there
Yeah, it's very common. It's almost weird.
because it has to be.
Yeah, it's almost weird if you're not close to that. If you're not close to that, then you're probably like a teacher, maybe,
Yeah,
or maybe you're like a waiter or server. You're working in food service, but like those are like usually like younger guys doing that kind of thing. Like I don't really know why like someone who would be like 55 is, or I mean it does happen because life situations might happen or
yeah,
whatever. But I mean like for me to like date a man and he's a waiter or server, that I just wouldn't do that. That makes no sense. Like there's too many other men here that are like, and for
yeah,
I don't know, for here in New York, an average income is pretty close to six figures. You know what I mean? That's not like a
yeah. It
high
has to
income
be.
here at all.
Yeah,
That's not high at all. So like that's why I said maybe that's, and that is just here in New York. So that may not be a fair statement for like other states. But there's a high concentration of six figures here, but that's not a lot of money considering how much things cost here too. A man that makes $100,000 probably still needs a roommate. He can't
yeah,
afford to buy a house. He can't afford to buy no house here. Not on six figures. He can't. Not on
yeah,
six figures, he can't. Not on the low end. Maybe if he was like 300,000 or $250,000. But like when properties start at $750,000, what the heck is $100,000 going to do?
yeah.
That's nothing. So
That might get you the bare minimum.
like,
Yeah,
come on. So I don't know.
yeah. But different states, it's like you
Mm-hmm.
know, my brother lived in North Carolina and now he lives in Atlanta. But I mean, well, he lives in the suburbs, and his cost of living ain't too bad either. But I mean, he lives in a rural area, and
Mm-hmm.
his house was cheap, and where I live, I live in a pretty good neighborhood, and it's a little expensive, but it's 100,000 will get you it, no
Mm-hmm.
problem.
Yeah.
100,000 here in my state, you live very well, you
Okay.
really do. But I mean, the economy's not as good. I mean, New York, I mean, they pay a lot more money and stuff,
They
and
do. And I always.
and yeah, but I guess I don't know. It depends on where you live. I mean, the 100,000, in North Carolina would be a lot more than New York, sure.
Yeah.
Unless maybe upstate New York, are they expensive
And
too?
it's even worse up there.
Oh, it's
Upstate New
worse up
York is
there.
even worse up there. Upstate New York is not expensive. It's kind of like being back in the country. It's kind of like being in North Carolina. The median
Yeah,
income is like maybe 35,000 or 40,000 or something like that. Um, it's it's gotten like more people. It's gotten more attraction since
uh huh,
Corona happened because so many people are doing work from home that they're moving to more spacious areas that they have more room to spread out. But houses, you can get a house for like 200,000 there, 300,000,
oh, that ain't
maybe
bad.
like maybe like 350. But like I said, if you're coming in with a New York City salary, you can do it. But if you're coming in with a salary from upstate New York, that's gonna be hard.
Yeah, you ain't gonna be able to make it in the
Yeah,
city, man.
that's gonna be hard. So I'm moving upstate soon. I can't wait. But I'm moving with the New York City salary, and my job will stay in New York. I am not doing that upstate New York salary. No, no, no,
Yeah, are you
no.
on commute? Do the commute thing?
No, I'll be able to work from home.
Oh,
And
okay,
also,
nice.
yeah, also like the good thing about New York City is that they have branches everywhere. Any company you work in, if you move to like Atlanta, it's likely that they have a branch office in Atlanta that you can work to, that you can
Yeah.
work in. So there's branch offices for my job like in upstate. So I'll probably just transfer to that office. So there'll be no need for me to commute back into the city.
Oh, nice.
Mm.
Unless you like the city, do you like it there?
Not anymore.
I don't think I'd like to live there. I would love to visit though.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good place
I
to come visit. Definitely not
yeah.
live. Mm-mm.
I told my wife, yeah, we gotta need to come visit. But
Yeah,
I'm used to the desert. I've been here all my life,
yeah. Wait
and
for things
me
to
and my
open up
wife
more.
have, huh?
Wait for things to open up more because it's still just not, man. Like, it's just still so many things closed down, and it's like not that they're closed because of COVID, is that they couldn't survive the drought. They could not survive the no customers. So a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
places went out of business. A lot, like walking up and down like the most busiest parts of New York, like Times Square, 42nd Street, stuff
Mm.
like that. Like there's so many businesses that are just completely like closed down because they couldn't survive without the
Oh
drought
man.
and stuff like that. So
I'll come back, but that's sad though, because people, well,
yeah.
yeah, this pandemic thing, a lot of people suffered.
Hmm.
My job, I work more than I have in my whole dang life. I made more money than I ever had. Yeah, no, seriously, um, I ain't going to say what I do because I work for the government, federal government. So, but I don't want anybody saying that are
Hmm.
trying to link my opinions, which I don't think my opinions are bad, to who I work for. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, my job, I've been working a lot more than I would normally,
Hmm.
and I'm glad it's opening up because man,
Yeah, me
this
too.
I'm tired of wearing a mask everywhere I go,
Yeah,
and
thank me too. I'm so sick of the mask.
yeah,
But
but
I guess I'm gonna get ready to get going because it's 9 and
okay,
I have to work tomorrow. But this was a really awesome live. I think we got a lot of misconceptions out in the open and aired out and stuff like that. And I don't know. I hope I know we're going to keep seeing it more. More couples that swirl and stuff like that. And I like what you said one time where you were like white men and black women need to give each other a chance. And
yeah,
tune out the societal bullcrap, but just get just do it and try it and give each other a chance, which I think is
yeah, and
actually happening.
I believe that because it's successful, and these people are so much alike, it's not even funny.
Hmm.
And yeah, give each other a chance, and you might be surprised. You might be like, "Wow, okay." Um, Not everybody's like me that just jump into it because that's what they want to do. You know, but yeah, you're right. They should give everybody a chance, and that's the most successful interracial combination. And something's there, something's
Yeah.
positive happening.
Hmm.
It can't be all accidents. It can't be a fluke.
Exactly.
Um, it- and when you're in a relationship, one person can destroy it, but two people have to make it work, or
Hmm.
it won't work.
Hmm.
So, I mean, that's a positive thing. But anyway, yeah, thank you for coming on. I had a good time, and it's always good talking to you. And anytime you want to come on, just let me know. If you ever start your channel, I'll support it, and I'll be your first subscriber. And
Will do. Sounds good.
but yeah, I enjoy talking to you, and I enjoy you moderating. I appreciate it. You and my other moderators do an awesome job, and your candle shop. I'm going to order some stuff tomorrow, and
Oh, okay.
you might check
What do you
that
think of
out.
the candles? Do you like
Huh?
them? What do you think of the candles or the website?
Oh, my wife's interested. My daughters are. They like that type of stuff. So we're
Okay.
going to order some stuff from you and stuff. And if You want to tell the people your business and stuff, then you
Oh
know.
yeah. Sure, yes. I'm uniqueboutiquecandles.com. If you check the website out, you'll see all my candles are very like highly stylized and designed, and I'm kind of going more for like candle decor and candle like decorations and stuff like that. I have some like event candles. I also have candles for I have some insect repellent candles too. I have a line
Oh, okay.
of indoor repellent candles because I don't like the smell of citronella in the house. So I have two fragrances that are good for burning in the house that don't smell strong like citronella, but are also really effective in keeping mosquitoes and stuff away. So check those out. There's like I think lemon eucalyptus and orange clove. Really good against moths, flies, definitely mosquitoes, gnats, and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I've done so much candle research. I had a lot of time during COVID, so I did so much research on candles. It's one of my favorite hobbies now, and yeah. So guys, please check out the website and subscribe so you can get 25% off your first order.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, we're going to order from you, and when I go to work and my wife goes to work, we're going to put that out there and stuff, and you know, we'll get that out there. Also, I want to say thanks to everybody that's prayed for my daughter, her tumor. She has the same tumor I had back when I was 49, and it's a benign tumor. It's non-cancerous. It's in the pituitary gland, and mine got so enlarged it affected my eyesight. And what it does in that gland is it affects your hormones. It affects your thyroid, your vision. There's so many things it can do, and it's not cancerous. It's not going to spread, but it does get bigger. So it does have to be treated, and we're hoping that she won't have to have surgery, that they can shrink it, but we just don't know how far along. But her prolactin levels gone down, so that it's showing signs it's not as big as we thought. So that's uplifting. And if you watch my videos, I was a mess and I was crying and just totally tore down. But that's my daughter and I love her.
Yeah,
And
you're worried about your daughter.
I yeah, I went through it and I was just fine. And she will. She's 25. She's a lot stronger than I was. But I just don't like seeing any of my kids go through any pain and stuff. But I just want to say thanks to everybody that's prayed. Got a lot of prayers. And my daughter says thank you. And she's anonymous. And I don't want to put her out there or have trolls going after her. But and she's a fan of mine, so we're tight like that. But anyway, I just wanted to say that. And Loren, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. Enjoyed you having you on the show tonight, and last week with Patrice. That was fun too. I had a good time. And anytime you want to come on, if you just felt the urge, hey, let's do it live and talk about this or that, or Joe, you're welcome anytime. Just shoot me an email, let me know. And I know people that watch love hearing you, and my wife and daughter love hearing you too. And
Okay. Tell them I said
I'm grateful
hi.
to have you. Grateful to have you on the show, and it's been awesome. So have a good night. We're going to order some candles from you, and I'll talk to women that I work with at work and tell them to check it out too, and we'll try to spread it around, get you some
Thank you
business and
so
stuff.
much,
And
friend.
all right, but
Alrighty. Good night, guys.
good night. Thanks for coming on.
No problem. Mhm.
Keep in touch.
Will do. I'll be emailing you.
Okay,
I have more topics in mind, okay?
okay, it's a deal. All
Okay.
right, we'll talk to you later. All
Good
right, have a good
night.
night. Bye. All right. All right. So, well, that's going to conclude it for tonight. Enjoyed having Loren on. She's really awesome. Love talking with her, and love having her on the show and everything. And check out her candles. She makes some nice stuff, and my wife and daughters likes that stuff. And you know, but anyway, thanks for joining me on the live. Uh, Thanks for your prayers for my daughter, and we're having some positive things happening, and we're not out of the water. It's got to be treated, but it's non-cancerous. That's a good thing, and the doctors are confident that even if they have to have surgery, it's going to be a good thing. It's going to be successful and everything. So, but anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off for tonight. But thank you all for watching. Thank you for watching my videos and lives. And if you have any ideas you'd like me to talk about, I'll do that. If any of you would like to come on live and join us, so join me on a one-on-one or a panel or something like that, just shoot me an email, and we'll make it happen. It's real easy to do and it's fun. I'm going to try to get my do a call-in show, but I got work I got to do, and I'm not a real great tech guy, so I'm going to have to reach out to someone, get some help on that stuff. But that's what I want to do in the future, have a call-in. But we're going to do lives, one-on-ones, panels, and stuff like that. And I enjoy it, and it's fun, and we get more out of it and stuff when it's 2 or 3 people than just me talking to you. But um, I have some lives where I just talk. But anything you want me to talk about, just email me. I'm at roadrunnernm89@gmail.com. And if you look on my page, it's in there. Just send me an email. And also, before I forget, I had a hockey jersey giveaway and had a winner. I gave out my Arizona Coyotes jersey. The winner picked that, and real nice lady. And I'm not going to say who she is because she didn't give me permission. But if you want to enter to win a hockey jersey giveaway, shoot me an email. I'm going to put out the questions on the 1st of July to the 5th. And then whoever gets the most questions right wins a jersey. And then I'll send you which ones I have, and you pick from that, and it'll be fun. But anyway, have a good night. Thanks for watching. I love you all. Thank you for your comments and your prayers and your support. I do appreciate it. And big love to you all. And I'll be making a video during the week, and I'm going to have, next week is Father's Day. I'm going to be spending time with my daughter, me and my wife, our daughter and her husband and our granddaughter. And I won't be doing a live show next Sunday. But I will be making a video with me and my wife on Father's Day on the 20th Sunday. But other than next week, every Sunday I will have a live show. And if things work out, I might be able to squeeze one in. But I'll see how we're doing. I got to take care of my daughter and stuff. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Be looking out for it in the middle of the week. And Sunday, me and my wife are going to do a video together for you. And after that, then I'll have a live show every Sunday. But anyway, have a good night. Thank you. Big love to you. And I'll see you in the next video. Have a good night.